Hello and welcome to the weekly Global Heartstream. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez, a professional coach, artist, and speaker who enjoys traveling the world, connecting with amazing people, and talking about the longest, most rewarding journey that you'll ever embark on, the 12-inch journey between your head and your heart. Through individual and group coaching programs, online courses, and live seminars, I teach a heart-centered approach to personal mastery, leadership development, and spiritual growth that helps people become the most loving, joyful, and powerful version of themselves. The Global Heartstream is a weekly dedicated space to help you reconnect with your heart, raise your vibrational frequency, and remind you just how powerful, loving, and amazing you already are. It's also an invitation to unify our hearts with the intention of bringing more love, compassion, and healing to a world that so desperately needs it. You can find out more about my work by visiting gabrielgonsalves.com, where you can also sign up for my weekly newsletter, join the Heart Leader community, and register for my upcoming seminars. And if you enjoyed this Heartstream, please be sure to subscribe, like, or comment so that we can reach more people and help make this a more loving, compassionate, and heart-centered world. Hello and welcome to the weekly Heartstream. I'm your host, Gabriel Gonzalez, broadcasting live today, May 4th, from the beautiful city of Granada, the home of the Alhambra, which basically means the palace with the red walls, because it's made out of clay. Today we are starting a new month, and with a new month, also a new topic. And the main topic that we're going to be discussing during the entire month of May, the month of the flower, the month of Mother Mary in the Catholic tradition, is the topic of the Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine, specifically what today's theme is, Divine Mother, Sacred Heart. So we're going to be looking at not just what the Divine Feminine is, but also exploring the relationship with what we normally refer to as the Sacred Heart. Hello, Isabel. Buenos dias, Isabel. Hello, Payule, over out in California. Hello, Irish. You made it. Irish, where you been? I have not seen you in quite a while. I've missed you, love. Hello, Luz. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Veronica. Hello, Cindy. And hello, those of you who are making your way into our chat and then also into this weekly space that, as you know, is a dedicated space in the middle of the week. As Cindy Hart says, Wednesday is Heart Day. So it's an invitation to pause in the middle of the week, reconnect with the heart, reconnect with what is most important to you, which is always going to be love, your relationships, your values, that which is most meaningful to you. And obviously, connecting, bringing our hearts in unity around the globe into this expanded network of compassionate, loving energy so that we can then raise our individual love frequencies, do that as a group, and then radiate this love, this compassion, this healing energy from our hearts to a world that so badly needs it. How are you? How are you feeling right now? Those of you who are joining us live, would you mind just sharing in a word or two how you're feeling right now? How's your week going so far? Is there one or two words that can define what your week has been like so far? For me, it's been quite difficult, I have to say, moving into the flow of things, primarily because I went away on a weekend retreat up on the mountains of the Sierra Nevada National Park to participate in a series of ceremonies, and I got to perform and play some of my music, met some really wonderful people, and I was really in heaven. So I noticed that after a weekend away, connecting with people very deeply through music, through sacred ceremonies, it's so hard to get back into this other real world, isn't it? It's really hard to get back in front of a computer and do some administrative work and do newsletters and pay bills, especially because it's the beginning of the month, and do all of that stuff. There's a tremendous amount of, um, yeah, of, what's the word? Not rejection, resistance. Yeah, tremendous amount of resistance. I just want to be back in that space. It reminds me a little bit when I went to Burning Man the very first time. My goodness, no wonder they have these decompression parties, because after you've really been operating in a land of freedom and joy and connection, to kind of go back into the linear world is very difficult. All right. Laura Littleton says, I found you. Woohoo. Yeah. Who are you talking about? You? Did you find yourself? Danny, welcome. Says she's feeling quite tired right now. Cindy says she's feeling thoughtful. What does feeling thoughtful feel like, Cindy? I've never felt thoughtful. What is that actual emotional equivalent to that? Payula says she's trusting in my word. Felicia says, I feel badly. Oh, no. Ari says, so tired, Gabs. I need the sea. Yes. Ellen says she feels the energy of defeat. Veronica says, blessed. Luz says, spacious. Let's see what else. Let's see who else. Laura's laughing. Peaceful. Okay, peaceful. That's the energy. Yeah. Well, don't know if you were aware of this, but over the weekend we not only had a new moon, but we also had an eclipse. And eclipses are always time of transformation, transmutation. There's always this sort of accelerated death that we get to experience when there's an eclipse, bringing about some deeper realization. And then not only that, some corresponding equivalent in our daily lives. I've noticed in myself and a lot of my clients and a lot of my students that exact same process. It's a process that, as many of you know, it's always happening, has always been happening, but times like these bring an acceleration that sometimes throws us off guard. So as we go into this topic of the Divine Feminine today, I invite you to use this time of heart connection to really allow the energies of the Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine, to hold you, to nurture you. That's really what we're going to be doing when we go into the meditation space, into the sacred heart time. Leela, welcome. She says, hope is all well with you and everyone's. Thank you. Cindy says she's feeling peaceful and she's been reflecting a lot about her life. Raise your hand if you have not been reflecting lately deeper than normal about your life, about your direction, the bigger reason why you're here, what's in alignment with this next stage of your life and what is not. If you did not raise your hand, then you know what is happening. You're transforming. We're transforming. Okay? And this is ultimately why we're here. So let's move into today's topic of Divine Mother, Sacred Heart. There's so much we could discuss on this topic, but I want to begin to create a context, okay, for this conversation that we're having about what the Divine Feminine means, because I come from a slightly different perspective. Okay, so I want to share a couple of concepts and ideas that we are going to then be implementing into our meditative work. The first concept or the first idea I want to share with you is this idea that in the beginning there was the Word, and then the Word became flesh. What that means in essence, in the beginning there was the vibration. That's all that existed. It was just the light. There was only one power or one presence that governed the entire everything, and that's all it was. Scientifically, you could say in the beginning there was just a ball filled with pure energy the size of a tennis ball. That's what our scientists tell us. Filled with energy. And all it knew what to do, what to be was energy. But then, for some cosmic reason, that ball exploded into what we call the Big Bang. And the moment it exploded, it began to separate. In the beginning, there was the word, the essence, the vibration, and that vibration became something else. And Christian scripture says it became the flesh. It became the body. But what it basically means, it became something other than itself, and not just something other than itself. It became two opposite forces. You can call it light versus darkness, good versus bad, good versus evil, but it gave rise to what is normally referred to as polarity or duality, or the second dimension. One thing split into two and created two opposing forces, or seemingly opposing forces, both embedded with this essence, but opposite in nature. And this is what gave rise then from the absolute to we can now call the masculine and the feminine, which are two names that we give these two forces. One that you could, in essence, say gives, and the other one that receives. And that pretty much explains the concept of the masculine and the feminine. The feminine energy is the aspect of the divine that is receptive, nurturing, caring, supporting, embracing. Represents the womb of the mother, and therefore is normally associated with love, because the forces that nurture, hold, care, and support are normally what we think about every time we think about our mothers or the qualities of a mother. So there is then this initial split of this one thing, right, that splits into two, and it gives rise to what we can call the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And then, of course, that begins to split again, giving rise to a third force that you could call the sun, or you could call time and space, or you could call whatever you want to call it. But it gives birth to a third, out of which then everything comes. This is what is also referred to as the Trinity. But for the sakes of this discussion that we're having here today, we're going to focus on this aspect of the one that is the feminine, that is the feminine aspect, that is the receptive aspect, that is the nurturing, caring aspect, which we normally refer to as the divine feminine. So you could say, like, this thing that we call God, in essence, divided in itself in two, and then it became what we would call our Father, Mother, God, for lack of a better word. Okay, you with me so far? So this is the first concept, this first idea. The second idea is that this thing that we call God, spirit, source, whatever, also exists in this three-dimensional world that we live in as three persons. It exists in first person, in second person, and the third person. In other words, it exists in first person as what we normally refer to as the I am within me. It exists in you, PJ, in you, Leela, Orish, Veronica, is what normally is referred to as not only your holy I am presence, but also the Christ self within you, which is the individualized aspect of divinity in you. So that's the part of God that is you. That's the part that Shirley MacLaine refers to when she's like in that movie, I can't remember what it was, like screaming, I am God. You know, you finally come to the realization that you are co-creating your experience with the divine, and there's a divine aspect within you. Then there is God in the second person, divinity in the second person, and divinity in the second person is expressed as a you, not in another person, but in some being that you can relate to, that you can talk to, that you can commune with. All right, and then can be said that these are embodied in the presence of a saint, an avatar, a guru, a master, or somebody who's realized the presence of God to the degree that we enter into a conversation, a communion with them. And why is this so important? Is because we as human beings, we're wired for connection, and we need to not only connect with the presence of God within us, but we also need to be able to interact with it by praying to it, singing to it, listening to it, etc., and referring it as a you. That's the key here. And then there's the presence of God in third person as the it, the isness, the suchness. So you can think of it as the Native Americans referred to it as the Great Spirit, the totality, right? The part of God that exists everywhere, that is always present. And so there's God in first person, or divinity in first person, in second person, and in third person. Now, throughout history and through many different spiritual traditions, you're going to be seeing different deities that symbolize, that are an expression in the second person of this divine feminine energy that we've been talking about. And in our Catholic Christian tradition, it is normally associated and linked to who? Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus. She is, in this tradition, the maximum authority, or she holds the post of the divine feminine within the Christian tradition. But she's a bearer of this divine feminine energy, but it is not exclusive to her. What I mean by that is that there are many other traditions where this divine feminine energy are also held and honor and sang to and prayed to. In Asia, there's Kuan Yin, for example. In the Ascended Master traditions, there are countless divine feminine figures, goddesses. In the Hindu tradition, well, oh my God, you have innumerable representations of Shakti energy. And in the African ancestral tradition, for example, in the tradition of the Orishas, you have the Lady of the Waters, Yemaya, okay, who represents basically the divine feminine, not just in the ocean, but then also expressed as Oshun, the Lady of the Sweet Waters, the Lady of the Forest. My point is, every tradition has some kind of an expression of the divine feminine that they pay homage to, that they pray to, that they ask for nurturing, caring, and support, especially protection. Last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before, I was with my friend Mary. I took her down to one of the beaches in Granada. We went to a place called, what's it called? Torre Nueva. And right there, up on the mountains, overlooking the bay, there's this beautiful statue of the Divine Mother of Conception. They call her here in Spain. It's one of the many expressions of Mother Mary. And she's there as the lady protector of all fishermen. So she is the one that all fishermen pray to before they go out at sea and ask for protection. And not only that, but also ask in case they were to drown, for her to be the one that literally pulls them out of the water and delivers them to Jesus, so that they can then be taken up to heaven by the Savior. So that's the divine feminine. Is the feminine aspect of divinity, of God, that is not only present in divinity itself, but it's also present in the entire creation. And why is it present in the entire creation? Well, because creation in this physical form comes from divinity. It's not the other way around. It's not like we exist and therefore we are divine. It's like we are divine and therefore here we are. In other words, behind the world of form, there's a spiritual reality. There is a divine presence that permeates all of life. And this physical reality emanates or comes from that divine reality. This is what we do every time we go into prayer. We begin to see beyond the world of external appearance, the world of physicality, and we begin to connect with this essence. And we begin then to summon within ourselves the qualities of that divine essence. This is what we do here week after week, every time we go into the heart. Now, we spoke about then the male and female aspect of divinity that is basically gives rise to this, what we call the second dimension or duality. We spoke about the three persons that help to understand the importance of not only being able to commune with the divine forces within us, but also in the form of some divine being, some avatar, some figure that we can pray to, honor, talk to, ask things from, and then also recognize it out there in the totality. But what's most important, to be able to align with it through our hearts. Now notice, in this duality, we're given an organ whose nature in itself is both masculine or negative. Both masculine and feminine, I meant to say, or positive and negative, right? You have within the heart two beats. You have systoles and diastoles. One that receives the blood and one that pushes it out or pumps it out, giving rise then to this eternal heartbeat that gives us life. Okay, so the heart is both masculine and feminine. The part of the heart that gives us that is masculine gives us life, gives us energy. It provides the fire within our hearts out of which passion, excitement, joy comes from. There's also a feminine fire within the heart out of which then unconditional love, kindness, and compassion arises. And so the invitation is during this entire month of May to begin to hold these ideas in our lives or in our awareness as we move through our daily lives. Beginning to see divinity everywhere, in both the masculine and in the feminine. Beginning to see that behind this every statue of Mother Mary, behind every statue of Wat Kuan Yin, Yemaya, Shakti, any divine being, goddess, or avatar that is female in nature, what they are embodying, what they are representing, is the divine quality of God, and specifically the energy of the mother. Now, the last thing I want to say about this topic to set the context for the rest of the month is, as human beings and as being part of this planet, we've been moving from the very beginning of the evolution of our planet and of us human all the way up to here. When the planet was first formed, our scientists tell us that the first life here that originated in the forms of beings that walked the earth and began to populate the planet were the dinosaurs, right? The reptiles. Now, if you notice, when this planet was primarily inhabited by these creatures pretty much just laid the eggs, and then they just left their young to survive. They would just bury the eggs and then leave. They wouldn't come back to check up on their babies. They would just abandon them. And not only that, it was incredibly aggressive. There was no compassion. There was no kindness. There was none of that. It was just, they were just eating each other, fighting for their survival. All right. Dinosaurs did not stop to think of like, oh, I love you. There was no love between dinosaurs. That's my point. Reptiles don't seem to have that capacity. And by the way, in case you're not aware of, within the back of our brain, there is a part of our evolutionary of our brain, basically, that is referred to as the reptilian brain. And it's also the part of it that is designed for fight or flight. And within that part of the brain, there's no love, basically, because that part of you is designed for survival. So during this stage of our evolution, that's what the name of the game was. It was just the survival of the dinosaurs. But then something happened. There's a quantum shift in awareness and consciousness that gave rise to mammals. And out of the birth of these mammals, right, when each time a mammal had their young, what would they do? They would nurture them. They would not abandon them like the dinosaurs left. They would care for them. They would be there with them. Not only that, with the introduction of mammals, there was also the introduction of compassion. It had not really existed upon this planet as a vibration, as an energy. And so this is the beginning of compassion. This is the beginning of an evolutionary awareness that begins to grow on this planet, where for the very first time, an animal can feel the pain of another animal. An animal can feel the connection that comes at the level of the heart through the emotions. And this is then also the beginning of this divine feminine quality in the planet. For the very first time. And notice that the word mama, notice the word mammary glands share the exact same root, because they come in essence from the word mother, mother that nurtures. Our earth is the number one mother that nurtures the entire existence of everything and everyone who's on this planet. But at the level of human life and animal life, it is with the introduction of the mother that nurtures and cares for the young that then this divine motherly principle begins to slowly grow within this planet. So, Divine Mother, Sacred Heart. It's an invitation to begin to see that regardless of your spiritual tradition, your beliefs, your values in life or whatever, there is within you both a masculine and a feminine force that powers your life. Is the connection? It's your divine inheritance, basically, because these two represents also both the masculine and the feminine aspects of divinity. That within your heart, you have these exact same two forces operating in any time. That there is a concept or an idea of motherhood that goes beyond our mothers. In other words, there's an energy that has been carried out from the first female that came into this planet, right? Which is the energy of the nurturing mother. According to a scientist, it was an extension or an expansion of the motherhood principle that began to take root here upon this planet through the arrival of mammals, but nonetheless. In other words, through our hearts, we can connect with that divine aspect within divinity or within God and within ourselves that is always nurturing, caring for, supporting us. And that we can find comfort in that. You know, one of the things I've noticed being someone that lost his mother, 12 years ago now already. And then also my sister, who was also a mother, is that the longer I live, the more people I connect to, the more women that I meet, the more I can connect with the essence of this divine feminine quality. In other words, my mother, I've come to realize after so many years, was just simply the vehicle through which this love, this kindness, this nurturing, this caring came from. And then before that, it was her mother. But then after her, it continues to show up in my life through very nurturing, loving, caring, supporting friends, acquaintances, clients, to the point that I recognize it more and more and more. Not only that, begin to recognize it more and more and more in me. When I myself offer myself compassion, when I myself offer myself kindness, when I myself respond to other people with kindness, with compassion, or with a with a desire to want to help them, nurture, heal, etc. Divine Mother, Sacred Heart is an invitation once again to no longer begin to see the Mother or this Divine Feminine as something that is separate from you, something that exists out there that some people have in one religion, some group owns it, because no religion group can own this. No one. But every religious group, can certainly celebrate it, sing to it, embrace it, demonstrate it. But it represents part of both our divine nature, and it also represents part of our human nature. So with this as an introduction to this month topic and theme of the Divine Feminine and accessing the qualities of the Divine Feminine within our hearts, let us begin now our guided meditation. Our intention today is to summon this Divine Feminine forces through our hearts. Let's now find the most comfortable position right there where you are. As you begin to give yourself permission to let go of these concepts and ideas I've been talking about for the past 25 minutes and move now into the channel of the experience. As you gently close your eyes and begin to breathe slowly, deeply, and evenly right here into the middle of your chest. As you breathe in and out of the heart, take a moment to listen to the vibration of your heartbeat. Look for that gentle labda. And recognize that within that labda, there is a masculine and a feminine polarity. That's what makes it labda. That this polarity is also present in your brain. You have a left brain that is referred to as your feminine brain, and a right brain that is referred to as your feminine brain, and a left brain often associated with the masculine. You have a left side of the body, equally associated with the masculine side of the body, and right side of the body associated with the feminine side of the body. And that these two forces are breathing you, emanating from your heartbeat. That even your breath is both masculine and feminine in nature. The inhale being feminine by nature because it's receptive, and the exhale masculine in nature because it's giving. As you continue to breathe in and out of the heart, take a moment to scan your current life experience and look for things to be grateful for, to feel appreciation for. Take a moment to feel appreciation for the gift of this life, for the roof over your head, for the technology that allows you to be here right now, and for some of those good things that are happening in your life. Knowing that every time you focus on what to appreciate, by focusing on appreciation, you are expanding that consciousness. And therefore, you're drawing towards you more things to appreciate. Breathe in appreciation. Breathe out gratitude. Regardless of your external conditions, take a moment to feel gratitude. And allow this feeling of gratitude to open your heart and to radiate from your heart to all the physical organs within your body. As I speak the following prayer on your behalf. In the name of the Father, the Mother, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Holies of Holies, the entire spirit of the Great White Brotherhood. In the name of the saints of the Church, the Lamas, on all divine beings, spiritual allies, teachers, and guides that guide our lives towards love. I call forth the divine forces of God's unconditional love and compassion to seal and surround us. In the name of the I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self of everyone here, I call forth the divine forces of the heart of the Mother. Beloved Mother Mary, beloved Kuan Yin, beloved Lakshmi, Shakti, beloved Queen of the Forest, beloved Yemaya, beloved Oshun, beloved forces of divine love, open our hearts, open our understanding, that we may raise our vibrational frequency through the power of your nurturing, loving, caring love. Hold us in our struggles. Nurture us when we feel tired, exhausted, when we feel defeated and we want to give up. Oh, Holy Mother, we love you, we honor you, we appreciate you, and we come to you for this healing. Heal our hearts, lift us up. For the next few moments, imagine that the divine forces of love straight from the Divine Mother, the divine feminine figure that resonates most with you, begins to flow into your heart. See, feel, and imagine as these nurturing, caring forces of divine love and compassion begin to surround you, envelop you, hold you. Divine Mother, source of all creation. From you comes and from you returns all of life. We are your children, the likeness of your reflection. You are the one that keeps us safe and warm at night. You're the one who gives us her love, her kindness, her understanding, and reminds us when we have forgotten the truth inside our hearts. Feel the warmth. Feel the embrace of the Mother. As you feel it, lean into it, deeply allowing it. Affirm into yourself. I am the divine feminine in me, shining in my heart. I am the divine feminine in me, shining in my heart. I am the divine feminine in me, shining in my heart. I am the presence of unconditional love that sets me free. Presence of unconditional love that sets me free. I am the presence of unconditional love that sets me free. I am deeply loved, cared for, and provided. I am deeply loved, cared for, and provided. I am deeply loved, cared for, and provided. I am the divine feminine in me, feminine in Geraldine, in Suzanne, in Shortly Love, in Mary, in Kelly, in Hugo, in Ben, in PJ, in Leela, in Irish, in Veronica, in Isabel, in Cindy, in Laura, in Danny, in Paiule, in Felicia, in Ellen, in Lush, in Veronica, and in everyone who's here today or listening to this broadcast afterwards. I am the divine loving forces that emanate straight from the heart of God, that nurture, care for, and provide me. I am the nurturing forces that restore my body when I sleep at night. I am the unconditional loving presence of compassion I give myself when I'm feeling down, depressed, or sad. I am the loving, caring mother, presence in nature. I am the divine feminine in me, replenishing me, restoring me, nurturing me from her love, strengthening me from the inside out, that I may wake up and continue along my path. I am the divine feminine in me that provides me with the right events, people, and circumstances that I may become the person that I came here to be, that I may serve God in a way that is perfect for me. I am the divine forces of unconditional love, kindness, and compassion that nurture me every day and allows me to nurture and care for those that I love. I am a vehicle of the divine feminine to flow through me. Loving energies flowing from my heart to my family and my friends. Loving compassion flowing from my heart to the vast world outside. I am the divine feminine. All over the world. Nurturing, caring for, protecting God's children. Rising in the heart of every son and daughter of God. I am the divine feminine in me, beating in my heart, reminding me of my grandmother's song, to stand in my power, to share my love. I am the divine feminine in me. And so it is. And it is so. Amen. For the next few moments, allow this radiance of divine feminine energies to flow from your heart of compassion out to a world. See, feel, and visualize how our hearts unify and goes out to the world, bringing about compassion and healing. nurturing those who are feeling tired, exhausted, alleviating pain, alleviating suffering. Let yourself be a vehicle of the mother's love. Gently, we initiate now our return to the full awareness of our time together, choosing to keep our hearts open and available to this divine, unconditionally loving forces that come straight from the Divine Mother, that female aspect of God that is all nurturing, caring, and supportive of all of life. Making a commitment to continue to give ourselves this love, to act as our own mothers, and to bring this loving, nurturing, caring energy to those we love and care for the most. Gently, we can go ahead now and open the eyes and take a moment just to check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling right now. And if you want to, and you're up for it, I'd love it if you could share with me a word or two that describe how you're feeling right now. What did you discover? What did you realize during today's brief process? Irish says, wow, I needed this. Thank you. You're welcome, Irish. Irish, I just love that painting of yours. So beautiful. Kelly just shared a little heart. Sometimes when we go through one of these processes, I know it happens to me quite often, I'm a bit speechless. So a little emoticon, it's the best way to describe it. Lara says, I'm feeling lighter. Payula says, angels. Iris says, grateful and unconditional love. Beautiful. PJ says, I feel like preteen me. Just 5 more minutes. Yeah, I know that feeling. Ann Stewart says, that was a really nice, great start to my day. Thank you once again. You're welcome. You're welcome. Remember once again that my role here is as a guide. So what I'm doing here week after week is just guiding you to a place that already exists within you. What that means is that these forces, this sense of peace and love or flow or whatever it is that you experience when you come to these meditations, it's a place that lives within you, okay, and that you can access anytime. You know, all that is required is just the commitment, the intention to go to that space and to close your eyes and bring the awareness inward into the heart. It's a part of you that connects to the heart of divinity itself. It's your energetic center. And so it is through this spiritual heart that you can access the heart of the mother, that you can access the heart of the Father, that you can access the heart of the Christ, Jesus within you. This is your divine inheritance. This is your divine right. And of course, when we do this together as a group, sharing the same intention, we create an expanded field of awareness where it becomes easier to access these qualities. But just to remind you that all I'm doing is I'm taking you to the heaven within you, which is really, as the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, reminding us, is where heaven lives. The kingdom of heaven is within. So if you want to go to that space, if you want to connect with your divine parents, the place to do so is inward. And the land to visit is the heart. Leela says, feeling so light. That was a powerful guided meditation. Thank you. You're welcome, Leela. Danny says, love and peace. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Ben says, peaceful and grateful. Cindy says, healing a piece of my heart. Isabel says, unconditional love, deep connection to Mother Earth. Yes, the Mother, Pachamama. There's a question here from Laura. Says, do we bring our addictions to this altar? Yeah, offer it all. Offer it all to the altar. Absolutely. And I heard somebody say that they were feeling pain. You know, one of the things that happens very often is that the moment we begin to bring the awareness to the heart center, the heart chakra, oftentimes we begin to feel pain. And I want you to think of what you're connecting with is the parts of the heart chakra that are dead, that where the energy of love has stopped flowing because of blocked emotions, unforgiveness. And the very same thing that happens in the actual physical heart when people have a heart attack, which basically means a part of the heart begins to die because oxygen is not getting to it. The exact same corresponding thing is happening at the energetic level in the heart chakra. Right? The energy of love, the energy of life is meant to flow freely and openly through these energetic centers that, as you know, they're wheels that are spinning. And so when we suppress and repress these energies from flowing, it creates stagnation. And that's what you're feeling. So the important thing is that continue to be aware of the feeling, the emotion, to continue to breathe into it. And obviously you could bring divine or ask for divine intervention in the healing of and the restoration of your heart chakra, which is in many ways what we did today when we summoned the divine feminine forces into our hearts. Bring your addictions, bring your problems, bring your struggles. And as you place them upon the altar within your heart, just ask to be delivered from the cause, the record, the memory, whatever it is that created that problem, that addiction, that may be transmuted and that may be fully and completely healed. Okay, that would be my recommendation and answer to Laura's question. All right, my beautiful friends. Unfortunately, it's that time already. So I wish you all a really wonderful and fantastic rest of the week, wherever you are in the world. We'll be back here again next week at the same time, where we'll continue to explore this topic of the divine feminine, and we're going to be looking at it from different perspectives. Today, we pretty much just laid out the foundation so that we can now go a little bit deeper. All right? Please take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And as always, I send you all my love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining me in this week's Heartstream. I hope you're walking away feeling more connected to yourself and your divinity, to the planet, to others, and to all of life. Please be sure to subscribe so that you can receive notifications about upcoming broadcasts. And if you would like to sign up for my weekly newsletter, join the Heart Leader community, or register for my upcoming trainings and seminars, be sure to visit my website, gabrielgonzalez.com. Until the next time, please take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And as always, I send you all my love from my heart to yours. Bye for now.